What's up, everybody? This is Falcon74. How you guys doing out there? So Netflix releases a documentary on the upcoming mega fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford by the title of Countdown to Canelo Crawford. And it chronicles the life of Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford in a 2-episode length documentary. It starts with how the fighters got into the sport of boxing, and then it chronicles their rise to stardom, and then it also chronicles the leading up to this mega fight. Watching this series, I could just see that it's just both fighters are very, very similar in a lot of ways. They both come from extreme poverty. Canelo Alvarez started boxing at 14 years old. Terrence Crawford started boxing at 7 years old. So Canelo Alvarez might have more rounds and ring experience, but in retrospect, Terrence Crawford actually has been boxing a little bit longer than Canelo Alvarez. So, maybe that might even up the playing field as far as their experience level. Terrence Crawford had 70 fights, I think, or something like that, amateur fights. Canelo Alvarez didn't have very many amateur fights. He turned pro at 15. So he pretty much was learning on the job. And, he built a lot of his mettle and his style in the pros. And, that could be a very good thing, because when guys transfer from amateurs to the pros, they kind of have to alter their style to, fit the pros. It's just a different transferring from amateur to pros, the way they fight, how you score points, and how fights are scored. I noticed that Canelo Alvarez, a lot of people give him flack for having the machine behind him and, him having the politics behind him. And even though he's had that advantage over the years, and he's had a couple fights where people feel that he shouldn't have won, but he won because he's Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo Alvarez is still a hell of a fighter. He's been fighting on the big stage for a while, and I just feel like for him to have maintained and fought at that level for this long, and for him to still be here, you got to give the man his props. I don't think they can put just any fighter in his position and they still be successful. We have to credit him for his hard work and dedication to boxing. He's always came 100% prepared for fights. He's always given good fights, fan-friendly style, great punching power, great ring IQ. He's worked hard at his craft, so that's a great thing. He really did improve a lot from his loss to Mayweather, so you have to respect that. It's going to be a hell of a fight, September 13th. Terrence Crawford, same thing, representing himself as a great champion, never ducked any fighter. He was looking for, all of the smoke, and he was looking to challenge himself in his career, took fights on short notice, things that a lot of fighters in this particular generation right now aren't really doing. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. I don't know if they're looking for the right fight. I don't know if they're promoters or just, not, they just don't have the confidence to put him in, certain fights yet. But nonetheless, Terrence Crawford, he was always taking on the best challenges available. Unfortunately for him, he didn't have the promoters' favor. He had to get everything up the hard way. And it seems like, he got opportunities here and there, but when it came time to really step up to, highest level, things like that, we know that people didn't want to fight him. PBC froze him out. I think that's why he went to a lower weight. I just think that because of, the fighters that were under Top Rank's promotional banner, he had to go down to 135 to, just to have an opportunity to accomplish certain things. And then, as he accomplished, he continued to move up in weight. I think he would have been closer to 168, just like Canelo did. Canelo was able to fight anybody he wanted. He can, move to whatever he wanted, weight class he wanted to. They're probably around the same size. I'm not really sure that, Canelo's that much bigger than him, and I don't know if he's stronger than him physically. So, there's a lot of things and questions that this fight raises. So we'll just have to see on fight night. Terrence Crawford is, he's got that demeanor. He's got that chip on his shoulder. Canelo Alvarez is very much the same way. They both say that they got into boxing to, make history, to make their name great, to be mentioned with the greats on Mount Rushmore. Both fighters are constant professionals, and they've been so. Alvarez has had that hiccup with the clenbuterol situation, but he's doing a lot of testing. So, even if he had a certain advantage, in the past, things have changed. I don't know if he has the politics fully on the side, being that Turki Al-Sheikh is the one putting up all the money. Boxing, I understand that Turki Al-Sheikh has a contract with Canelo Alvarez where he has a lot more fights, left under his banner pretty much after this point. But I just think that that's changed. I don't really feel like anybody has a edge in these Riyadh season fights. I just feel like everything's a level playing field. May the best man win. You got a lot of testing, so if anybody is trying to get an edge anywhere, I'm pretty sure that it will be discovered. So no worry about any harm or foul there. I just feel like that on fight night, one of the fighters are going to separate themselves from each other to the point where there is no controversy, and that's what I believe. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. Been so looking forward for a long time. Can't believe that we just have Larry a week away, roughly 8 days, and this is a monumental fight in the sport of boxing that you just don't see too very often. I'm hoping people really appreciating this and not really getting too caught up in the whole weight thing. And unfortunately, Terrence Crawford just didn't have anybody else to fight to put him at that that Mount Rushmore place that he wants to be. So. And now this is also an opportunity for Canelo Alvarez to, shut up his naysayers. And, so it's just going to be a fun fight to watch. I'm looking forward to it. And anyway, well, till next time, you guys, Falcon 74 signing out. Salute.